This episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. A couple of years ago, I went through one of the toughest health episodes of my life. I found myself in a really dark place, and honestly, it felt like the world was caving in all around me. I didn't know where to turn or what to do. I knew I needed something, but it just seemed like nothing was working. In therapy didn't work for me in the past. But then, with the encouragement of my wife, I decided to give today's sponsor BetterHelp a try, even though I was a little skeptical at first. And let me say, it was so different. I connected with a therapist, and simply talking with her helped me lower my anxiety in ways I didn't expect. Sometimes it's just about having someone outside of your family to listen, and BetterHelp made that so easy. What I love most about BetterHelp is the flexibility. You don't have to commit to months of sessions if that's not what you need. Sometimes a few sessions are all it takes to get some relief, to take the edge off, and start feeling a little better. Plus, they have a wide selection of therapists. You can find someone you really click with, and if you don't, you can switch therapists anytime at no extra cost. If you're like me, someone who gets stuck in their head a lot, BetterHelp might be the answer. And right now, if you visit betterhelp.com/sold-separately or use the link in this video's description, you can get 10% off your first month. So give it a try. Remember, you can't take care of anyone else in your life until you take care of yourself.
Auto sequence start in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And now, on with the show.
My name's Jesse Merl. I do a show called Jesse on Fire on YouTube and where podcasts are watched and listened to. My happiness is being with my family and training jiu-jitsu with my children.
All right, Jesse, how are you, my friend?
I'm good, man. How are you?
Doing well. Thank you so much for doing this. I really appreciate you coming on.
No, it's my pleasure. It's fun to talk
Jesse,
to other people instead of just my camera sometimes.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Jesse Merl here, host of Jesse on Fire on YouTube, and you're everywhere, right? Are you on audio also platforms or just on YouTube?
Yeah, we're on. I'm on Spotify. Apple Podcasts, all that stuff. Like my show, Jesse on Fire, and then Play with Matches. Also, they're both available there.
Awesome. Well, yeah, everybody go check Jesse out. He's got some great commentary on things, and that's one of the reasons I wanted you to come on here. Just kind of get things around. It's been a rough week, right? Everything going on.
It has been.
Do you remember?
Insane week.
Yeah, I mean, completely. Do you remember where you were when you first heard about Charlie?
Yeah, I was. I was recording a video about the girl who got killed on the train.
Yeah,
and I saw a notification come through my cell phone, which actually what was really crazy about how the whole thing, it was literally identical to how I found out Trump had gotten shot when he got, a year and I don't know, whatever, 14 months ago. Mm-hmm. It was a Truth Social notification that came through, and it was literally identical in every way to when it was right after Trump, got shot at, and it said Charlie Kirk's been shot. His current status is unknown, and I shut down what I was doing and I immediately went live. And so, I think there's a difference between when you heard Charlie got shot and when you saw the video. And so and I was live streaming when I saw the video. So my reaction to what happened is out there, exactly how I reacted. It was, it's pretty gnarly, man.
I had hope when I first heard about it. And then when I actually mistakenly found the actual video of the shooting, I thought, there's no way. I mean, there's just, it was brutal.
I said to my audience too, I just was like, look, I don't have a huge concern reporting like he's gone. Like there's no, they hadn't officially, put it out yet, but I was like, there's no one survives that. Like that's
no.
And I think I mistakenly, actually I didn't. But I was going to say, I thought what you were going to say is that you had hope that there would be some kind of, because the video is out there, so everybody saw exactly what happened, that you could expect, I don't know, some kind of common ground behavior from people in the country. Like this has never happened before, nothing like that.
Right.
And you would think if there's any hope for any kind of collective civilization that we all live in, that like that would be a moment where people go, all right, like we could probably lay down the swords for a second,
Yeah.
And it's the exact opposite. And I honestly, I'm at a loss, to be honest, with where the country goes from here, because this is the ultimate litmus test. It's like, do the two sides have anything in common at all? Like anything that they can say, all right, like we can agree, just even in behavior. It's like, we can agree that it would be in poor taste to celebrate someone getting murdered and there's a clip of it ripping around the internet. Like that would be in very poor taste. It's like, because I know on our side, we don't do that. We don't do that. It's not a thing that we would ever do.
Right.
And it's so commonplace on the other side that I just don't even know. I don't even know how to interpret it. It's like, in fairness, so every Democrat that I talk to that I know is like, I mean, is either like indifferent in terms of like my dad's like, I didn't even know who he was, but basically the internet culture is destroying society is basically what my take on it is.
I completely agree. I mean, I think that, do you think that if we even had social media, let's go back maybe, I don't know, 30 years ago, if something like this happened, I think it would have brought people together but there's so much hatred out there on no matter what team you play for. I mean, I was appalled this week, and every day there's a new person getting fired for celebrating this death. And I just thought, where are we that we celebrate, forget what he stood for and what his message was. He's still a father and a husband, and we're cheering a human being being shot on camera, basically, and out in the open on a college campus. I mean, it's just evil. Where are we when we celebrate that?
And my wife shared a quote that she heard online that she thought was just brilliant, because the new narrative on the left is that there's this wave of firings. And I actually just heard Crystal Ball just this morning say the way she framed the firings were that there's a wave of people being fired from companies for not properly mourning Charlie Kirk. I'm like, are we swearing on this show?
Sure.
You fucking idiot, Crystal Ball. Like, that's how you're going to frame that? Not properly mourning. They got fired for publicly celebrating that he got murdered.
Right.
I mean, I know she's married to Kyle Kalinske, and so they're like, I can't. Yeah, I mean, but like, come on, dude. Is that really how this is being reported, that they're not properly mourning? It's like, hey, do you know anybody who just stayed silent that got fired? Do you know anybody who just anything other than yay, this guy got murdered? You're like, so what my wife shared with me, she said that the best quote she saw is, if you think it's okay for someone to get murdered for their opinions, I think you should be cool getting fired for yours.
Mm-hmm. No, exactly. I mean, we're in a rough spot. We're broken as a society, as a country. I just, like I said, I'm blown away by every day. There's some news that comes out that people are openly celebrating, getting in a fight. I think there was a memorial somewhere, and there was a argument that broke out and a fight that broke out there. I just, and I guess I never really understood what it was. I guess it goes back to the values that he put out and what it was that made people so angry and so divided. I mean, this is a guy that's going on a campus, sharing his opinion, using his words to debate people, and the First Amendment. I mean, I don't understand the hatred for this one man. I guess it's just, maybe he stands for something that the left really just goes after.
Well, he was the most successful youth organization in the country. Mm-hmm. So that makes him the biggest target of the propagandists that try to whatever they think they're doing over there he's target number one. And they have convinced an entire, generation of young leftists that if a person is Christian, that means that they hate gays and trans people. Like, they really believe that. They're like, that if a person's Christian, that means that they want to eradicate trans and gay people. He's never said anything like that. He's moderate compared to a lot of people.
Yep.
They also take everything that they say completely out of context and then flood the internet with it. One of the quotes that I saw being used by a lot of people who were, being nasty about it at first was, Charlie Kirk said that he was fine with kids getting killed in school shootings so that we can have the Second Amendment. And now the irony, he gets shot at a school. And I was like, there's no way he fucking said that. So I looked it up. That's not what he said at all. He said that they were trying to hammer him on the Second Amendment about gun deaths. And he said they're tragedies, but I think it's an acceptable trade-off so that Americans can defend their own homes and their own property or whatever. Something just like that. Like, he didn't say anything about school shootings. He didn't say anything about children. Didn't say anything like that. He just said gun deaths are an acceptable trade-off. And the funny thing about that too is these people are dumb. Like, they're just dumb because you want to have that conversation, the Second Amendment gun deaths. Okay, cool. So, what's your suggestion? Like, there's 380 million guns in the United States. Like, what's your suggestion? Like, I know it's in La La Land. Oh, we should get off fossil fuels. We should get rid of guns. And you're like, okay, go ahead. What's your plan? Yeah. Well, I just think that we should force people to turn them in. You're all, okay. So you guys calling everyone fascist. Now, your first order of action is let the government keep their guns and go around and forcibly take all of the guns from the people. That's number one. And you're calling us fascists. It's like, plus it wouldn't work anyway. Like, it's not enforceable. The people who are in law enforcement agencies, they're not going to do it. So it's not going to work. So it's a nice idea. Won't work. Right. What's option two? They don't think they have fortune cookie ideas that are not flushed out. And they think that the right and like Trump voters stand for hatred when it's the exact opposite. Like, the Trump voters have opinions about how people will live their best life. And in some cases, the only time that anyone on the right ever tries to invade the household of someone on the left is if they think they're protecting a child. That's it. There are no other times. It's like, okay, this trans thing, there are a bunch of kids that are getting indoctrinated who are going in and getting on puberty blockers when they're like autistic and they're 8, 9, 10 years old. We're trying to protect those kids from crazy parents that are buying into this thing. Like, we're trying to protect the kids. You want to do this to yourself? Do whatever you want. Okay. And the abortion thing, they're always trying to control my body. They think they're protecting babies. You fucking idiot. Okay. Like, I'm not with them on it. I'm not like, that's not an issue that I align with them on, but that's what they believe. Okay. So, like, there is no time when they're trying to invade their sovereign space in their household and change what they do unless they're talking about protecting children. And on the other side, you look and it's like culturally acceptable. They call them like sharing hate. And yet the people think it's so normal on their side to hate these people that they cheer for the death. Like, and then they're shocked when they get fired. It's like, you are exactly what you call everybody else. You guys are frauds and you're too unself-aware to recognize it. And isn't that kind of stupid? I mean, I think if you're in the workplace or there's a story I read about a nurse who turned her surgeon boss in because he was celebrating in the hallway. And and now she potentially could lose her job. I mean, but if you're that surgeon, even if you have those feelings inside, or if you're anybody, what would persuade you to do that out in the open and say that in front of people? That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of just wacko. I just don't know why people, and that really shows who someone is. I think when that happens, I really feel like it's showing us who you are as a person. But talking about kids and talking about parenting, do you think, I know it's early on this and we know only a little bit about this young man that murdered Charlie, but do you think any of that, from what you can tell, do you think any of that goes to his upbringing or parenting, or, I mean, what is going on, I guess, in youth that we're because that's, that's a huge, he climbed that building up, shot somebody, just like with the Trump shooting. I mean, it's like, or what is persuading these people to do? It's a huge risk, a huge something to do like that. It's just, it blows my mind to go through all that to do it. I mean, it's just bizarre.
Yeah, I agree. And like, well, I'll answer that in two parts. So like, as far as the parenting goes, no, I don't think that the parents had anything to do with that, because, I actually lived in Utah for a year.
Mm-hmm.
And what I saw from the conservative Mormon community is the most tight-knit families I've ever seen. And all of them it's almost like they've got some secret that everybody else doesn't know, where they're all so happy. They're all like going, oh, we're going to her concert this weekend. And the whole family's like, yay, yay, yay. Like that's what their culture's like. Like that's what the conservative Mormons are like. They're like, it's an amazing culture, honestly.
Yeah.
But what I also can say is that in that culture, when you have it's such a formalized way of living that, like, when someone steps out of it, they go hard the other way fast. Sometimes, like they just, because they don't drink, I don't even think they drink coffee. They don't swear. They, they live like a really wholesome life. And so when people step out of that a little bit, they got a rebellious nature. Sometimes they get swept up fast. Like there are people who come to college sometimes who grew up in really heavy religious households, and then they are train wreck partiers, because it's like brand new to them. They didn't drink anything in high school. And they just go all the way in. But like, so I understand how someone could come out of that culture and then get swept up into a thing like this. But what they're reporting now is that this guy, so the shooter lived with his transgender girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever.
Right.
The governor is saying that the roommate didn't know anything about it, and that they are, cooperating fully. And the governor is saying that they didn't know anything about it. I find that extraordinarily hard to believe. But nonetheless, what the neighbors are saying, the neighbors that lived around there said that over the last couple weeks, they started seeing a bunch of cars with out-of-state plates that were coming to their apartment complex. And then the people who were going in and out, they said they gave off really bad vibes. Like, I mean, this thing, just like Charlie Kirk, when I saw the video, and I was like, I don't feel any concern about saying like, he's not going to make it through this. I'm going to say this is going to end up being an organized, like, Antifa thing. Like this is what it's going to be.
So something bigger than him.
It's not just him. There's this like that's, and people are like, oh, it's just one lone shooter. I'm like, what movie are you guys watching? Okay, there were over 20 X accounts that announced foreknowledge that this was going to happen that have been found. Okay, like over 20 that were attached to transgender people who literally posted like something big's coming at Utah Valley State. When and now this is the first time I'm ever going to say this, but thank God for the Patriot Act, man, because these guys think that, like, I don't think that they're smart enough to recognize what the Patriot Act means, and so they think they're going to, we're using Signal, it's fully encrypted. They're not going to be able to,
right,
fully encrypted. How about maybe they're smart enough to use all burners, maybe, I don't know, like they seem to have like decent tradecraft, but if any of them were using their phones for anything, they're going to get caught. It's as simple as that. And they're announcing who they are. The guy who stood up and cheered. Did you see that? Did you watch my video that I did last night about that?
Yeah, the guy that just, I mean, that is bizarre, because that just doesn't add up.
I mean, well, did you see his interview though, or like his video that he did?
No, I didn't see the video that he did.
Okay,
no.
So you haven't seen so I did a video about it last night. So the guy who stood up and cheered immediately afterwards, and obviously incriminated himself. Okay. If someone's shooting rifle rounds over your head, you don't stand up and cheer. Okay. This has been a tried and tested thing for all of human civilization. People start shooting at you, you hit the ground, you get somewhere safe. Okay. No one stands up and starts cheering. And unless
you know, what's
Exactly.
going on.
His story, so he made one video where he explained that the reason he was doing it is because he was trying to create a distraction and save lives. And he got absolutely obliterated online, like obliterated. So he puts out another one that's not a red statement, and he tipped his hand exactly what he is. It's like, if you were going to literally script out, I wonder what one of these maniac, like terrorist, murderous Trantifa people is like. I couldn't have written a script that was better than the video that he gave. It's perfect. It's like, this is exactly who these people are, and this is exactly who was involved in planning this thing. And the guy who asked the question about transgender shooters right before he got caught, he's on it. I guarantee you that he's in on it also. He put out a video. He's like, but Charlie's still a human being, and that might work with some people, but not with me, dude. Like, you try to poker face me, I know exactly what you're doing. And I saw that was an act, and I could pick it out instantly. That guy's going to be in on it. I will bet my life on it.
Do you think that was a signal? Do you think that was a signal to go when he asked that question?
Poetic, dude. Like, I think, because like when they do the question, it's on a huge microphone system with speakers. Everyone in the crowd can hear it. So, I'm going to ask about trans shooters. And then right when he starts it, that's when you hit him, it's poetic, but
I didn't think about that.
These guys don't know they should just shut their stupid mouths, and maybe they wouldn't get caught.
Yeah.
But these guys think they're smart, and they're not, and they're going to get caught.
And the guy, I mean, he obviously wasn't too afraid to mention what was going on, because wasn't there a guy who tried to get someone to hide the rifle for him? And I think those guys are going to be in trouble. Whoever didn't report it, that he talked to, and then the whole what's the server Discord. I think he came home and started chatting it up on Discord after it happened. So no remorse whatsoever.
Discord came out and claimed that there was no planning of this event on their platform, and they're like, but we already deleted his account due to off-platform, like behavior policies. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Speaking of Patriot Act, we need to go make sure, because like, you think Discord wants to be associated with psychotic leftists planning to assassinate someone? Like, I don't trust them at all.
Yeah, that is very fishy. I don't trust that either. I think hopefully they're going to be able to do some forensics on that and retrieve that information. Hopefully the FBI will get into that and see what all was said, what wasn't said. And a bolt action rifle, that was interesting to me too, because most of the time we've seen a class of gun that did these shootings, but now we've gone old school and gone to the bolt action single shot rifle.
It's not old school. The bolt, like, it sounds that way, but a bolt action for a caliber of that size, like a 30-06, which is a huge rifle round, they're always bolt action. So like, it's like, that's a hunting rifle, and like those hunting rifles are always bolt action, and especially I mean, they said it was a Mauser. I'm not even really familiar with that. I just know when you're shooting like 6.5 Creedmoor, 308, in some cases 308, but like 30-06 for sure is almost always going to be, it's always, because there's just so much pressure that comes off of that round. So you have to kind of rack it in and rack it out.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that's, again, I mean, that lined up with the video, that it was around that size. It's like, it's insane.
Do you think he had do you think he was just a gun enthusiast, or do you think he had any official training? They're saying no, but I don't know.
So he hit him in the neck, and he was 200 yards away. And assuming that he had a scope dialed in for a shorter distance, he wouldn't know that he needs to shoot about 6 inches higher to hit his actual target. So getting hit in the neck would line up with him being a decent shooter that doesn't actually know that much, and he probably aimed for his head and he hit him in the neck, would be my guess.
Because you're gonna move around, you're not gonna be able to anticipate which way he moves.
200 yards is gonna drop a little bit unless you actually dial your scope in for that distance, which I doubt that they did. And so he probably put the target right on the head, and it dropped and hit him in the neck.
Jesse, here's the other thing I don't really understand about this whole thing, and it's same thing with Trump's shooting. How are these guys able to? He was limping with the rifle hidden the rifle and then climbing up on the top of that roof and then getting down and being able to at first escape. How do people not recognize that? Maybe I'm just overthinking that. Maybe they wouldn't, but I just would feel like I would notice that and say, hey, there's something going on with that guy.
There's two. So I think the answer is different for those two incidents, because for the Trump shooting, it's the Secret Service. There's no explanation for how anybody could have gotten on that roof. For Charlie Kirk, he's a student action committee, who speaks at colleges all the time without incident. There's no. I mean, everybody's going to take precautions, but the precautions are going to be equivalent to the risk. And if you've done this for 10 straight years, never had a problem, you have security there. I think he was wearing a bulletproof vest maybe, but putting people on the roofs is, going forward, highly possible, but it doesn't surprise me at all that those were unprotected in this case. That's why I haven't even talked about that, because it's a different level of, expected security is much different for that event versus Trump,
Yeah. Well, it's just caught with our pants down. I mean, who would ever think at a college, on campus? I'm sure he had the bulletproof vest if he was wearing that, thinking that, okay, there might be an off chance someone could do something, but to plan it out like that, you got a sniper going on and that kind of like presidential assassination attempt. Who would have thought that? I mean, I don't think anybody was thinking that.
I don't think so.
But we will now.
Yeah. That bulletproof vest would probably not have done anything for 30-06 anyway, but I mean, maybe if it wasn't a direct, maybe if it hit kind of at came this way instead of straight on, but I mean, not that it matters now anyway. It's just I just mean in terms of what they're going to be comfortable with in terms of security going forward is going to be very different.
It is. And I hope that it doesn't stop people from wanting to speak their mind and do these college tours and get out there and have their opinion, because I feel like that's who we are as a country. I don't think we can't let this stop us. I think that it has to go on, whatever safety precautions we take, but that's what they want. They want to shut it down and, let us live in fear, and we just can't do that.
Yeah. I mean, it's a thing like this is going to do something. And my family goes to church sometimes. Last time we went was Easter, and we went this weekend, and the place, we go to this huge church out here. It's massive, massive. And the organization is unbelievable. And this last weekend, they said they've never in the last decade seen the turnout that they had. It was unbelievable. It was they went through all of the overflow parking whenever it was absolutely packed to the brim on yesterday. So
wow.
I don't know what that means. I just, and like I said, we don't go consistently, but we were just let's, but I think that we are in the group that recognizes this is not something that you joke about on the internet. This is
right.
a way bigger deal than that. And,
right.
Did you hear, speaking of things I'm going to eviscerate people for on my video today, that Wikipedia has editors that are arguing about deleting Charlie Kirk's wife's page because they said that she doesn't have enough notoriety on her own to warrant a page. They locked her page down, and now they're talking about deleting it. These fucking shitbags, man.
I didn't hear that.
They are the fucking cancer of society.
Yeah.
This woman who just watched her husband get murdered, and she just did a statement that every person on planet Earth watched.
Yeah.
And these liberal cocksucking fucking pieces of shit right after that are she doesn't deserve a page. She doesn't deserve a page. She doesn't have enough notoriety. It's it makes you want to fucking strangle them, dude. That kind of thing. It just where do you come from? Where do people like you come from? Where do you get made? You're an editor at Wikipedia. You're not one of these garbage pail kids who are these Trantifa people who are unemployed, living in squalor. You're an editor at Wikipedia, and you have that much hate in your heart for these people that you want to delete her page. It's just even talking about it makes it makes me crazy, crazy.
That's them just trying to, anything they can do to cancel it for sure, cancel her out for sure. And it's hate. It's just hate. It's evil. I feel like to your point, I can go out and say I don't remember the right doing anything like this, but I feel like I have never seen the conservatives do anything like this back to anything that's happened to a liberal that have, I think back to George Floyd. I think when George Floyd lost his life, I think everybody did rally around that. I think we saw it as a tragedy, and that no matter what his criminal record was or anything like that, he was still a human being. If we can't get to that common denominator, then we're in trouble, I think, no matter what side or what team you play on.
Yeah. I mean, any debate about George Floyd came in the aftermath when information started coming out, and you're like, you do realize the coroner like said that he had 4 times a lethal dose of fentanyl in his system, right? And so it was like, when we argue, we're arguing like facts and logic, and you're like, and what this guy's a saint now? You know that he did 9 years in prison because he did an armed robbery and stuck a gun into a pregnant woman's stomach. Like, you guys are making like murals all around the country for a guy who overdosed on fentanyl, who had been to prison 9 times, and also did a 9-year bid for taking a firearm and sticking it in the belly of a pregnant woman. It's like that's not hate. That's just like, what are you guys doing? Like, what is this thing you guys are doing? Yeah.
No, it's right. It's, when you go back and you look at that, and you look at everything that now, should the officer have done that extreme act? No, but I think he probably wishes he hadn't done that either.
Dude,
but
the officer, the thing about that though, is that like during the George Floyd trial, they got the trainers from the Minnesota PD to show the training, like the actual video of how they train them to restrain suspects in that thing. And it was like, and then they put it side by side. They're like, can you notate the difference between what Chauvin is doing and what's on your guys' training video? And it's like, and they're like, nothing. You're like, so he did exactly what you trained him to do. It's like, right.
That was a move that, is
exactly what they trained him to do. Now, look, actually, that's not true. I am an expert in this, in terms of like, I'm actually a complete expert in if you can kill a person with different things when you're holding them on the ground. Okay. All I do is jujitsu. And so anybody who grapples will know it is literally impossible to kill a person by holding them down with your knee on their back. It's not possible. Okay. I know every way that you can kill a person when you're grappling with them. That's not possible. Now, if he was my whole thing, and one of the most viral videos I ever had during 2020 was like, to me, it looked like he was having a medical emergency. And that's exactly what I said on a TikTok that ended up getting, 20 million views. I was like, when you watch the whole, like when you watch there was another viewpoint of it. And I'm like, look at this guy. He's up against the wall. He slides down the wall. He's having a medical emergency, and they're ignoring the fact that he's like having a heart attack or something. He's begging for help, and they're not helping him. I'm not like saying the cops did a great job. I'm saying that again, I mean, the best you're going to get from me is that like he was having a medical emergency and he was ignored. Like, they didn't do a good job. But like, what is a rookie cop doing, getting like 5 years in prison? Like, it's like his first week on the job, and the guy's doing exactly what they trained them to do. And then you send him to prison because he what? Like, you know what I mean? Like, this guy, he's like, this is what I'm saying is like, when that side gets riled up, they are ruthless, and they won't listen. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying this because I have anything against black people, or I have some kind of like, I don't know, any kind of, any dog in this fight, other than I don't want to see people doing life in prison for crimes they didn't commit. And I don't want to see anyone dead. I don't want to see anybody. I certainly don't want to see a rookie cop who just became a police officer, and he's out there like, imagine being a cop in your first week. You're like, hey, everyone calm down. You're like, are they going to listen to me? Like, right. I don't know what's going on. They're yelling at us. They're filming us. It's like, hey, please step back. And then whatever's going on over here with this 18-year veteran who I assume knows everything about policing. I'm not even looking. And because I'm on video, they ring me up and send me to prison for 8 years. Like, what the fuck is wrong with these people? Like, why is he in prison? Why is that guy in prison?
I think he was made an example. I mean, he was made an example for, there was too much heat going on. And you're absolutely right. I think if he was having a medical emergency, he probably was in trouble before he was even on the ground. Nobody seemed to, if there's any, I don't know.
That's what happens.
Yeah, I mean,
all
a
drugs.
reaction to the fentanyl, and we can compare that too. Also, what's the name of the Marine that got in trouble in court case for trying to help out?
Oh my God, man!
On the train. I mean, that's
Daniel Penny.
Yes,
and this is what I'm saying. Is like this is exactly what I'm saying. That culturally on that side, okay, on that side, I'm not talking about the viewers of the content, okay, like the viewers of, and honestly, that actually, the people who are celebrating, Charlie Kirk's death have successfully dehumanized the other side to them to the point where that like seems normal. But ultimately, when it comes to the decision makers, like the people in media who are going to, they get the full video, they know exactly what happened, and they make decisions on how they're going to present it to the public. Mm-hmm. And the politicians who are on that side are opportunists who intentionally will go with a narrative, which is a black person, victimized by white person in any opportunity that they can. And they will ignore all mitigating circumstances because they think it is somehow galvanizing the black vote for their side, for them personally, or whatever. Daniel, the guy that, especially given what just happened to the girl on the train, the guy that was, who died in that situation, had been arrested for assaulting people on the subway 3 times in the last 2 months. And 2 of them were elderly people. He shattered a 70-year-old woman's face, shattered her face for no reason. And he's on the train screaming and threatening people. 3 guys on the train restrain him. One of them is Indian, one of them is black, and then you have Daniel Penny, who's white, who is holding his neck and like in a chokehold. And the guys who are holding his legs, okay, are just suddenly not part of this story because they catch the very end where a black guy's being restrained by a white guy, and then he died. And then they don't even tell you the part that he wasn't even dead on the train. The guy let go of his neck. He died an hour and a half later in the jail, or I'm sorry, in the hospital. Mm-hmm. After every cop on scene was ordered by their superior not to give him mouth to mouth because he probably had HIV or hepatitis. Okay. And so then nonetheless, with all of those facts in there, the district attorney still charges Daniel Penny with manslaughter when he was trying to protect people on a train. And how do you kill a person with a choke if he has been let go of and he dies an hour later? Like, you still charged him? They would have sent him to prison for 12 years in Rikers Island. Yeah. They are evil. Like, they're evil people. A person that would do that would look at that case and would charge him anyway. And then they would run with that story. It's pure evil. It's self-interest over all. Like, I would never do that to a person. I would never do that to a person for my own gain, ever.
We're using political motivation to handle, and social motivation to handle these things, and we're not looking at cases through the lens of legality and common sense. It just seems like they already had tried and convicted him before he was even on trial. I feel like just because he was a Marine, they tried to blame that he was a train killer. He was going too far because he was trained to do that, and he somehow snapped. But I asked this question as men, I mean, or anybody, but as men, we have families, you're a dad, I'm a dad. What are we supposed to do out in society if we see something going on? Are we not supposed to help out now? Are we not supposed to get involved? I mean, what do we?
Oh, I mean, it depends. I mean, it depends on the situation. I'm in Texas. So like, if someone's threatening someone with a gun, I'll shoot them for sure. And, but if it comes to like any kind of physical altercation in person, I mean, all I do is train jiu-jitsu. This is not a problem for me at all. It's, and they're not going to die either, but they might wish they did, because I'll just target their limbs and I'll break their arm. And then they can think about that while they're, because again, and I've told my kids this too. I was like, I had to tell my kids, like, because my kids do jiu-jitsu. They're like competition champion jiu-jitsu fighters. And so but I tell them, I'm like, look, if this ever happens at school, I give them the opposite. I'm like, you guys do not attack anybody's limbs, because if you break a kid's arm, then I'm going to get sued. And I'm like, but don't ever hold a choke. Like, don't ever hold a choke ever, because they don't know to tap out and whatever. But it's like, I mean, but I guess, like, honestly, in that situation, Daniel Penny didn't apply a lethal choke. He just held him in place. And the guy, it's like a person like that is so on the edge of death anyway. You know, like they've been on drugs their entire life. They don't eat very well. And so like, I'm sure if you really got into the autopsy of what happened to that guy, he had some kind of medical emergency due to the stress of being restrained or whatever. But it's like, dude, you were getting restrained because you were threatening to attack women and children and people on a train. You're saying, I'm going to go back to prison. I don't care. I've killed people. I'll go back to prison. It's like, okay, so the reason you're getting restrained is because you're behaving like that. And if your lifetime of mental illness and lack of care for yourself leads to you, you know, dying when they just restrain you and try to protect people, like that's not on the people who restrained you. Like that's on you.
Yeah. Like you said, he died after he was taken to the hospital, right? He was taken.
And the cops didn't tell Daniel Penny that he had died. Cops took Daniel Penny took him to the station, questioning him without telling him that the guy had died. Daniel Penny had no idea. He thought he was just like giving a statement to the cops because this incident had happened. And they're like, so tell me about what you did. So he's giving a statement. He doesn't know he should ask for an attorney because he doesn't know that the guy's dead. Like he thought it's like, hey, you know, he thought the cops were like, hey, Mr. Hero, come give, you know, just tell us what happened. He's in there like completely relaxed. They get his statement. Then they tell him that the guy died. And he's like, what? You could just see he's completely confused. And he's like a normal guy. Be like, I don't understand. I really don't. And like, again, this does not happen in reverse. Okay. Like the best that the other side can come up with where they try to throw like rocks over the fence is us. And they're like this Austin Metcalf kid that got killed by the you know, stabbed and killed by the kid in Texas. You know, and they're like, the only reason you care about this case is because the victim was black. Or, I'm sorry, the perpetrator was black and the victim was white. And you're all, okay, right. But just so we're clear, a kid got murdered, right? Like this kid got murdered for no reason. They're like, yeah, but you don't care when it's black on black. It's like, I don't know what you're talking. I mean, like this is what's in the news. Okay. Like this is what's being covered in the news. And so I'm looking at this case and going, wow, that is really tragic. They should put that kid in jail. Okay. Like you think that I'm scouring the internet looking for black perpetrators on white victims? You know what I mean? It's like, that's all you've got. And what about you guys? Like what are you guys doing? Is looking for reasons to hate people, you know?
Yeah.
Like I don't have any hate. Like if you watch my coverage of that Carmelo Anthony thing, I spent half the time talking about how tragic it was for the kid's family. I was looking at like their, you know, they had pictures of their family, Carmelo Anthony's family on a cruise. And I'm like, this family is just like yours, man. Like you think this is easier for these parents because this is like more expected because the kid's black. Like that kid was a high school varsity football player. That means his parents took him to practice every single day. They're on this cruise. Look at this kid. He's a normal kid at 15. And 2 years later, he's going to do life in prison.
And had big dreams and hopes for
family, you know?
Yeah, exactly. And it does not matter one iota what, in my view, like what color someone is, no matter what side is, who's doing the crime, who's the victim of the crime, it's still horrible. And for the families involved, like you said, to your point, they're wrecked. I mean, the families on both sides, the family of the shooter for Charlie their family's wrecked. I mean, it's a horrible thing to happen. And you would hate to get that call or that notification that your kid had done something like that. I mean, it's unbelievable. Where do we go with all of this that we've talked about? I mean, in the state of, we talk a lot about on this show about mental health and where we are as a society. What is broken in your mind? Like how do we get back to full center to kind of bring the ship back around? What do we need to do? What is it?
I think I don't know. I know who's to blame though. And it's the media apparatus as well. First of all, also you have, I believe, like state level powers that are intentionally pitting us against each other. Like, why was that Charlie Kirk video allowed to get distributed as widely as it was? Everyone saw it. Why was that not blocked? You know, like really? Because if you put a video of someone getting shot like that up on whatever, it would get censored instantly.
Oh, instantly. Yeah.
And on TikTok, everyone saw it. You're all, wait, who owns TikTok again? You know, that was fine to just flow like freely on TikTok. But I think that at the level that I can kind of take aim at is when people intentionally misframe stories because they know it's going to maximize their, their money or whatever, like their attention that they get. Those people are all culpable for this end result, where it's like, the way I look at my show is I will frame a story however I think it's going to get the most attention on the thumbnail and the title.
Yeah.
But then I will always cover it 100% honestly. Where I'll tell you a story about this that like I think encapsulates this perfectly.
Mm-hmm.
So in whatever year that the 49ers opened their new stadium, that's how I know when this was. So I don't know, it was probably 2014, something like that. Actually, no. Maybe 2013 or 2014. So I know that because I remember this happened at one of the first events that happened at that stadium prior to the Niners' first season there. There was it was like a dirt bike event or something like that. And this video was on KTVU, which is like the Bay Area local news. And it was of an incident where they framed it as police brutality. They were like, this is a major police brutality incident. So, of course, I watched it. And it's this guy in the video who is literally like 280 pounds, wasted drunk, right? And he's screaming at people. He's screaming, and the cops are trying to get control of him. And like one of them is grabbing the arms. They're like, you need to calm down, sir. And he frees one of his arms and punches one of the cops. And then the cops go and start they start hitting him with the batons, trying to like subdue him, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I watched that. And I'm just like, police brutality? The guy's 300 pounds. He punched one of the cops in the face. Like,
right.
How is that police brutality? So I went and I'd seen it online, right? Or whatever. And so I went to the news, right? The KTVU news. And I'm like, Gabrielle, come here and watch this. And I pulled it up, right? And between the time that I had watched it on the internet and the time that it had made it to the TV or vice versa, I can't remember which it was, they cut out the frame where he punched the cop. So like in one of them, I'd seen it, and then they just ran the story exactly the same, except they cut out the frame, the part where he punched the cop. And so it was just the cops just beating him up, and they just cut out the one part where he freed his hand and punched the cop. And I was like, oh my God, I couldn't believe it.
That was local news?
That was KTVU news in the Bay Area.
Wow.
And I could not believe it. But so check this out. So it's almost like funny to think about how affected by that I was back then, because I just assumed they all do this now, right? But like back then I couldn't believe it. So for probably around 2 years, I was talking about that. This is like, and so I remember in 2015, like late 2015, so probably a year and a half to 2 years later, I'm in Vegas and I'm hanging out with this buddy of mine who just happened to be in Vegas at the time too. And then we somehow got on that topic, and I tell that story. He's like, dude, my sister's the head of programming for KTVU. I'm like, no way. He's like, yeah. I'm like, dude, can you get her on the phone? He's like, yeah, man, I'll get her on the phone. So we're in my hotel room. He calls her, and I'm like, hey, this is super random. I'm like, I don't know if I'm like, so you're in charge of these stories? And she's like, yeah, to a certain extent. And I was like, so there was a story, and I described the story, and I'm like, but you guys edited out the part where the guy punched the cop. Like, why would you do that? And like, whose decision was that? And she's like, what? And I was like, I'm saying like, whose decision was that? And she's like, what? And then she hung up on me. That's a true on my children's life. That is a true story. And then she
That's
hung
weird.
up on me. So it's people like that.
Yeah.
People like that.
Wow. So did you hear anything after that with your buddy? Did he ever mention, she said anything or
his
anything?
His sister is much older than him, like she's like,
yeah.
But
no, it's
like
sensationalized.
It's just unbelievable that they have that little concern with putting out what's true. You know what I mean? Like you're just, and look at the result now. You have an entire population of people who believe that Charlie Kirk was a Nazi.
Yeah.
Or
that Trump is Hitler. I mean, there are people screaming that he's Hitler. I mean, if that is so disrespectful to victims of the Holocaust, and I mean, it's just, I can't even believe that more people aren't called down, I guess, on that, or called out. I mean, it's just, that's going to keep going on unless we all as a society stand up and say no. And I think we need to bring history back into kids. I think kids don't know history right now. I think that they don't. So they're taking on what they hear on social media and what people are telling them. And it's just, they need to learn history. They need to go back and look at world history, at the United States history, and see this is what as you said, what fascism is. This is what communism is. This is what I bet you, if you talk to someone who lived through communism in Russia, the Soviet Union, that, let them educate some kids and tell them, no, that you don't know what you're talking about. If you want a socialist mayor up in New York City,
they won't listen to any of that, dude. They won't listen. But it's, I don't know, man. It's when you're looking for, like, with a thing like this that I can see so clearly, like I can see this very clearly, and it is so challenging to try to think of how to address it, because you have all these people that are living in different phases of life. It's like, I mean, I would say that if it's like, oh, the population splits this, this percentage of people are here, this percentage of people are here. Like if you go, okay, how about families that have 2 or like 3 or more children? How many of them are conservative? It's like, you'd probably be like 80%, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And why is that? It's like, because we have to think about long-term things. We worry about our children. Like our children are our concern, right? And it's like, what are you like promoting over there? Like, what's your core message? And if they're like, we want people to be able to live however they want. Like if people want to be gay, be gay. If they want to be trans, be like, okay, well, that's fine, actually. As long as you are not creating societal level apparatuses that are going to force kids who are not trans to think they're trans and then put them down a road where they're going to, make rash decisions that they're never going to be able to undo, and they'll never be able to have kids and all of that stuff. It's like,
right.
So like, again, we're thinking about kids. That's our only concern. I don't care what you guys do. All those people, the gutter people, if they want to go collectively go skydive off of a building with no parachute, I don't care, dude. Do whatever you guys want.
If you're an adult, be you, go for it. But yeah, the kids that don't know, parents that are, and I think some of this, I think we've gotten into this victim mentality that I think a lot of adults, a lot of parents want their kids to, that they can say, oh, I have a trans kid, or because they want to go on social media and post their story and get some attention for that. I feel like that is,
it's like
so wrong
by proxy.
It's like child abuse. I mean, it's just, and these poor kids, to mutilate themselves, like you said, and to change their whole trajectory in life as a young child and not be able to have kids, not be able to think about that life, and to constantly have to take hormones. And it is, oh my gosh, it's just, that's a whole nother topic for another day. But
which is fine if they're trans. Like if you're trans, rock and roll. But for kids, yeah, it's like. So check this out. Did you see like my wife? 2 people sent this to me today. There was a reel or TikTok or whatever, and it was this woman, and she has her 2 daughters. They're like probably 7 and 6 or something. I don't know. They're young. Or no, actually, maybe like 10 and 7. And she's like, oh my God, you guys, the best thing happened today. And the 2 kids totally organically are like, Trump died? And they're like, and she's like, no. They're all, the vice president died? And she's like, no. And they're like, Elon Musk died? And she's like, no. And they're like, okay, what is it? And she's like, Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce got engaged. And I'm like,
oh my gosh.
If we lived in the world that you think that we're trying to make, like this is fascist totalitarian, I would take your fucking kids from you. So you're lucky that we don't. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
people don't understand
you're raising terrorists. That's an insane. My kids would, if one of my kids said that, if I was like, guess what? What's the best thing that ever happened? They're like, Joe Biden died. I would be like, what? I would turn the camera off and be like, what? Who the hell taught you that?
Right.
You little psychopath.
Right. Absolutely. 100%.
And it's women, it's a white woman indoctrinating her stupid young white children that they should root for Elon Musk, Trump, and JD Vance to be dead. And then they look at the other side and say that we're spreading hate, dude. And you're like, dude, if you're looking for white people that hate everyone, you're it, dude.
Look in the mirror. Yeah, and I'm sure she was hoping she could post that video and get a bunch of likes and shares and whatever else. But we
She's
have
wishing
just
very much right now she did not post that reel. I can guarantee you.
Heck yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's just sick. I mean, no, we're talking about human beings. I don't care who you are, what side you are, what you're on, side you're on. Like I said, it's the common denominator of a human being, a human life. And if we can't rally around that and look at this death of Charlie Kirk as a horrible tragedy, no matter what your politics are, man, oh man, and we've gone so far off the range of what's normal and moral. I mean, it's sad and it's scary. It's very scary, I think, for our kids going up in this world. But I think, get back to the whole, to encompass it with mental health. I think we just have to keep talking, right? I mean, we just have to keep going out there, keep fighting the good fight and pushing back on some of this stuff. And I mean, because we can't lie down. We got to do it with words. We've got to do it with healthy debate, and we've got to, come up with better ideas and do like we're supposed to do as normal human beings, is just have debates with words and have your say and not go to violence. That's just such a cowardice way out of a situation is to, are you that just scared that your ideas are not going to be able to level up with his, that you just got to take him out? I mean, that's where we are. If you don't like what somebody says, we'll end them.
Yep. And that, again, like those people are a fringe of crazies, but the cultural rot is where I'm focusing a lot of my energy now, because like I said, I knew for sure that there was going to be a wave of support for Charlie getting killed, because I saw how they behaved when the kids died in the flood. Like 6 and 7-year-old girls swept away and drowned in the middle of the night. And people snide comments online, videos of them like, oh, maybe it's because they're Christian and this is karma, whatever, all that stuff. It's like, you are, here's the thing that I am recognizing now, though, is the shoe's on the other foot now. You remember how you guys were going through everybody's 9 and 10-year-old tweets and looking for jokes that made fun of trans people that you could use to destroy people's careers? It's like, keep talking, dude. Go ahead and keep talking about Charlie Kirk and kids, because we're going to fucking bury all of you guys. Like that shit's over. Like, now the corporations have figured out that the tide is completely, like, the shoe's on the other foot now. And that's why they're quickly firing people that do that. And so I remember being like, cancel culture is pathetic. I am reveling in it now. Just keep fucking talking, dude. I will be if that's what my position in this ends up being in 5 years, that I became like the king of point out evil people and destroy their fucking careers, I would revel in that, dude.
I think that's an interesting.
Dude, I will give everybody a fair shake. No one's getting fired for something dumb, dude. But you talk about dead kids. Thank God Charlie Cook's dead, piece of shit. All right, dude. I have an endless supply of energy of getting people like that.
Right. And that stuff sticks around. You post something like that, it's on there. And I think that's a good point about, I think these people thought that, oh, well, the mainstream will support me and back me up. There's nothing's going to happen to me, but the tide has turned. And I feel like and good for them, for the people who are saying, no, you can't do that. You cannot come out and say that, especially if you're going to be representing our company or our team. A lot of sports figures I've seen losing their jobs. So yeah, good for them. I don't think in the workplace like that, if you have a personal opinion on that, talk to your friends, talk to your spouse, whatever, do it in your own privacy of your own home. But when you come out and you're so bold to come out and say that you're glad that someone has lost their life, had a bullet go through their throat, and you're celebrating that. What if that was your kid? What if that was your husband? I mean, it's just.
What about his kids, his wife?
Yeah. I mean, it's just, I worry about that whole family. And I feel like, oh man. All right, my friend.
When I do the Wikipedia story today.
Oh yeah.
Are you ruthless, dude?
I have not heard that. That is crazy.
Like, look, like just Google that story. It's everywhere. It's true. And,
that is nuts.
Like when my buddy sent it to me, he sent me like a TikTok covering it. And I I was early in the morning. Like I just woken up and I texted him back. I'm like, if this story's true, I'm going to leave these people in fucking puddles today in my video. Like, that is a bridge too far.
Yeah. No, it totally is. It's just, it's evil. I mean, I keep using that word, but that's all I can think of when I think of some of this stuff.
That's
It's
exactly
just
what it
pure
is.
evil. Oh, my friend. Well, hey, man, thank you again for coming on. I love talking to you. I love kicking around ideas. And please come back. We can talk about, hopefully nothing like this is going to bring us together again. But yeah, let's definitely get together. And I love it, man. You've got some great input and great insight on some of this stuff. And I always love to see you and talk to you. So thank you.
You're very welcome. We'll do it again.
Happiness Sold Separately is created and hosted by Jason Hensley and is produced by Makash Films. Narration by Lauren Gobis. If you or someone you know is in crisis and needs immediate help, call the National Mental Health Hotline at 866-903-3787. We would be honored if you would rate, share, and subscribe.
Aye, that's a good one.